Well, hello, welcome. I'm glad that you're here with us as we continue our chronological read through of the Bible. God has promised that, or God has declared that there will be punishment for Judah's sin. And as we read today, we see some of that happening. Judah is experiencing a drought, even as Babylon invades. As we read yesterday, no one escapes. There is no water for the rich, there's no water for the poor, there's no water for the farmer. Jeremiah intercedes for the people with God. He acknowledges their rebellion, he acknowledges their apostasy, and he appeals to God's faithfulness. Indeed, God is able to save, but at this point, God will not, for they must be punished for their iniquity and sin. And then we read something very rare as God tells Jeremiah not to pray for his people because he will not listen. Now, Jeremiah seems to persist, saying that God allowed false prophets to tell the people everything was okay. I guess he's making excuses for the people, but God denies sending these prophets. He declares that their message is false. Still, Jeremiah pleads, once again acknowledging their sin, pleading for his mercy. But God will not relent this time. The time for patience is past. God's destruction will come in the form of pestilence, of sword, of famine, and captivity. Jeremiah complains to God that everyone is against him because of what he prophesies. He even accuses God of failing to protect him. God rebukes Jeremiah. He urges Jeremiah to repentance and faithful, truthful speech. And he promises that he will protect him. Though the position is a lonely one, Jeremiah must side with God and not with the people. And indeed, Jeremiah does. Indeed, Jeremiah does this. He prays for and he receives restoration. He's renewed by God. He's rejuvenated in his proclamation of the terrible times awaiting Judah and the depths of human sin. It's a tough message, but one God has called him to faithfully proclaim. Once again, Jeremiah becomes an object lesson. Jeremiah is not to marry. He's not to have children. He's not to attend funerals. He's not to mourn the dead. God has taken away Judah's peace and his steadfast love and mercy. How awful, awful that would be. Mourning rituals will cease in Judah because, well, there's not going to be anyone left to do them. And Jeremiah is to tell them plainly that this is happening because their fathers forsook Yahweh and sought after other gods, and because they have done even worse and refused to listen to Yahweh. And yet, and yet the day will come when the Lord will restore Judah, just as he brought Israel out of Egypt, and she will once again know that he is God. In the midst of all this, Jeremiah prays for his own salvation, preaches faithfully what God tells him, because now he stands with God and not the people. Finally, at the end of our reading today, Jeremiah is sent to the people's gate to declare the sanctity of the Sabbath. If they will observe it, God will give them a reprieve, but if not, destruction will soon fall. Once again, I pray that this time together is helpful in your readings, is helping you to see what's going on there. I look forward to gathering with you again the next time.